If you've ever heard of the name Hokusai, you're probably thinking of this. Am I right? We see this piece of art everywhere, from shirts, socks, people's home decor, anything. But there's much more to this great artist than just the great way. I would like to inform you on the methods and techniques Hokusai used to create his art, and also two of his major pieces. First, Kirifuri Falls at Mount Kurukami, and Hokusai's manga. During the Edo period in Japan, which was around the 1680s, an artistic style called ukiyo-e formed. Ukiyo means floating world and e means pictures. Altogether, this means pictures of the floating world. This can be in a literal sense, talking about the actual style of the art and how they are visually fantastic, or the fleshy pleasures of brothel and kabuki theater that ukiyo-e was centered around. Ukiyo-e celebrated and depicted what painters from established academic art schools could never think to show, like life on the main street of Yoshiwara, the brothel district. Ukiyo portrayed sensual art that the public desired. Travel at the time was also very restricted and inaccessible to most of the public. Ukiyo-e art served as a way for the viewers to vicariously visit places they would never be able to afford. Hokusai was a Japanese artist of the Edo and Meiji era. He specialized in woodblock printing. Woodblock printings were the products of a collective effort by a variety of craftsmen, painters, and carvers. Hokusai had a great advantage over many other Japanese artists at this time, as woodblock printing was very tedious and required people of different skill to collaborate in order just to create one image. As Hokusai trained as a woodcarver in his younger years, it served him well, as he was not only the artist and sketcher, but could carve the wood for his prints himself. This made Hokusai much more self-sufficient than many other Japanese artists of his era. My favorite woodblock print of Hokusai's is titled Kirifuri Waterfall at Kurukami Mountain in Shichimusuki, from the series A Tour of Waterfalls in Various Provinces. The leading lines in the piece lead to the people at the bottom, as a perfect reminder that ukiyo-e art was designed for the common people. I love that Hokusai's prints were able to transport the viewer to a place they could only imagine to travel to. The simplicity is quite soothing to the eyes, but when you are aware of all the labor that goes into woodblock printing, the piece becomes infinitely more intricate. Today, when we hear the word manga, we think of Japanese comic books, when the literal meaning of manga in Japanese is curious or whimsical drawings. Later in his life, Hokusai released the first volume of drawing, commonly known as Hokusai manga. It was most likely planned that only one volume was to be released, but the first volume accrued so much popularity that it instantly became the all-time best-selling book in Japan up until that time. After the first volume, 14 additional volumes were created. The last 3 were created after Hokusai's death. Many people find this problematic, as 2 of them were comprised of unpublished sketches, as an attempt to cash in on continuing Hokusai's work. Hokusai did not intend for his mangas to grow this big in popularity. His mangas were images of everything he saw or that his mind conceived. Sketches of people performing various acts, demons, ghosts, deities, and animals. Hokusai did not have much regard for the first volume, as it was mostly a journal portraying his inner thoughts when he was going through a hard time financially. His son had been adopted by a wealthy family, so Hokusai was receiving a stipend from them. But during this time is when his son passed away, and he was no longer receiving financial help. While Hokusai's manga was not contemporary storytelling, it definitely had an effect on how manga is portrayed today. Hokusai's manga was random thoughts and sketches, but today, Hokusai's legend lives on through modern manga. Now that you have learned a little bit more about Hokusai, I hope that the next time you walk into an Urban Outfitters at your local mall and see the Great Wave off Kanagawa on a t-shirt, or playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards in your room, you can appreciate the great artist Katsushika Hokusai and his great influence on modern Japanese art. As Japanese culture grows in popularity in the States, we must try our best to understand its origins and appreciate artists like Hokusai that are to thank.